Good afternoon, everyone. This is part 2 of 3 on the Memorial Day video series, catching up, as I mentioned in the previous video. Um, in addition to all the the music project that I was mentioning earlier, I've got a full scale band music project coming up towards the end of the summer. Drums will be tracked at that point. And some special guests happening with that, which I'm really excited. So the acoustic album, which will be 10 songs, should be out by July, and then starting the full scale project uh, going into August. So that's going to be really cool. Um, so with this 2 of 3 Memorial Day video, I want to talk about adaptability. We talked about consistency in just that previous one, and adaptability will be the subject of this one. You know, adaptability is one of the markers, the true markers, one of the true markers of intelligence. Standardized IQ tests like the WAIS, the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, or the WISC, the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children, they do, indicate certain. They do tell us certain things about a person's intelligence, their processing speed, their ability to recognize patterns, and things of that nature. But as I mentioned in the previous video, we were talking about success and becoming successful and achieving goals and setting goals in the first place for ourselves, um, and being consistent. So one of the things that so it does those types of intelligence tests tell us certain things. What it does not tell us, what those types of standardized tests, don't tell us, is how well can a person adapt to life's changing circumstances. It does not indicate for that. You can't test for that with a pencil or a pen, or sitting there with someone for all day. um, Only life can test us. So what kind of work ethic do you have? Day in, day out. As I mentioned a little bit ago, when you get off track, how well can you be mindful of that and getting back on track? Um, and so it's interesting. It's sort of like a dichotomous thing where, in being consistent, but at this almost in a stubborn way. Like, I've got this goal, it's realistic, etc. Like I mentioned, and so almost like this dogged determination, a stubbornness, of I'm getting this done, I'm going to accomplish this, but at the same time not being rigid in our mindset and being able to be adaptable, to be fluid to life's circumstances and changes, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this is to be adaptable, be able to be fluid. And so when some kind of obstacle or challenge or difficulty comes up, how do we deal with it? How do we handle it? All right. So now, mind you, things like processing speed or pattern recognition, things that are indicated on a WAIS, or a standardized intelligence test, do give a person more tools, so to speak, inherent tools to be able to become adaptable, but it doesn't equate to it. You know, Work ethic does. The ability to be taught, if you have a goal and you're working towards it and you fail, and failure is part of the journey. Expect it, welcome it, because it's going to happen. There's no such thing as a journey or a path that we take that is not going to be impeded by challenges and obstacles and rejections and everything like that. So when that does happen, do you keep going? And so that's extremely, there's that word again, extremely important. But if somebody wants to be successful at something and you know and achieve something, that's what's going to have to occur, and that's what's going to have to happen. So learning from experience as well. I don't mean to be negative about it, but I know a lot of people, I've met a lot of people where quantitatively they have a very high IQ, and they have they repeat the same behaviors over and over and over again. They do not learn from experience. At least, behaviorally, they keep doing the same thing. So, when it comes to a practical application of making sense of the world and of life, the only way to really do that is immerse ourselves in it. So get out there and start doing. Get out there, start, learn how to fail, and learn from those experiences and not make the same mistakes over and over and over again. When there's certain things that tasks and what have you, learning an instrument, for example. I've spent, early on when I first picked up a guitar, uh, at the age of 17, by the way, that's very old to start playing an instrument. Most people will tell you that. If you're trying to be serious about it. And, has always been, and it is now, and it always will be a saving grace for me. And, I spent hours when I first started playing guitar, hours and hours and hours a day, um, probably 12 hours a day on average, sometimes less, sometimes more. But on average, I'd be playing 12 hours a day. I made the time to do it. I was still working like 3 jobs at the time and going to school at the time. Somehow, some way, I made the time to get all of that practice in because I was so passionate about it. And, like I said, at that time, it was certainly a saving grace for me, and it continues to be that. My point with saying that is, in learning how to play certain things that I wanted to play, I kept making mistakes. So it was like that type of a task where I kept making the same mistake because I didn't have the muscle memory there at the time. So the kinesthetics that aren't yet there. So you keep making kind of the same mistake over and over again. Um, I would think it's the same with other types of kinesthetic tasks. That people have to continuously do, but eventually you'll learn from it. So, learning from experience, get out there, immerse yourself in things, and learn how to fail and learn from the failures. I will see you in the next one shortly.